up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Ooh, it's kind of high, huh? What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we are down here to talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. We have some other things to talk about too. I was gonna talk about young, famous, and African, but that series went by so fast. So I'm going to talk about that in just one video because the episodes were 30 minutes. They went by so fast, and I felt like I watched it so fast that I didn't even want to like watch it again and do it episode by episode. Like we could literally just talk about it. Because you guys, I'm sure, have already seen it. And then also I wanted to talk about Bell Collective. I didn't take any notes for Bell Collective, but we can still talk about that. All right, so let's talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know you stopped by. Let me get to my notes here. The episode overall was okay. The end, I had no idea what the hell Marlo was talking about. Even I was on Twitter like, am I missing something? Because how she tried to make it seem like she had an issue with Kandi from something that happened 2 years ago to Drew not using the word shooting and instead using the word incident. I didn't understand what Marlo was trying to do. And honestly, last night I said that Marlo, Sheree, and Drew, I don't know. I don't think they're a good fit for the show. I thought Marlo would be a good fit for the show. I think Marlo was a good fit when all the other, back in the day when she was a friend of. I feel like she was a good fit. Now she has her peach, and I don't quite understand what she's doing. I don't get it. Besides trying to create conflict where there is none, which everybody leaves everybody confused, and we're not following you, right? We can't follow you when you are making up stuff and getting mad for no reason, or the reason why you're getting mad doesn't really kind of correlate with anything else. And it's just like, girl, you're mad at Kandi for something that happened 2 years ago. Why you didn't bring it up last season when you was up Kenya's ass trying to fight with her for every single thing? Sorry about your nephew, but I don't understand how Drew not saying the word shooting and saying the word incident upset you to the point where you're like, well, I'm going to leave because Kandi doesn't have to talk about the things she doesn't want to talk about. And she said that when, she was on something, I guess she did a live. Let me get this together. Hopefully, I think it might be better over here. Let's just do it over here. She did girl, come on. You are really bothering me, girl. She did a live. Maybe this is better, huh? She did a live. They posted it on Twitter last night, and she was explaining why she was upset, and it still didn't make sense. She was like, you get what I'm talking about? No, it's not making sense, and I can't follow along. I even said online last night, I would rather have flip-flopping ass Sonya over there, because she is a flip-flopper. I don't care if she don't think she is. Girl, you're a flip-flopper. You're actually worse than Cynthia. Cynthia would kind of like try to remain neutral. You just, I don't know what it is about Sonya and her flip-floppiness, girl, but it's a lot. You go whichever way, and it's true. Flip-flopping ass. Yeah. Okay, so we're at Sheree's house with Marlo, Sanya, and was it Marlo? Yeah, it was Marlo. Marlo and Sanya, and they're talking about BravoCon, and Sonya is talking about how Drew was acting at BravoCon, how Drew was, had her one glove and was acting all, like she had these issues with Sonya, and she didn't particularly like that. Sheree shares with us that Kenya came to their fulfillment center, and not She by Sheree's fulfillment center, a fulfillment center for different businesses who have product that needs to be sent out, and they use that fulfillment center. So it's not a She by Sheree fulfillment center. Okay. Also, at the beginning of the episodes, we hear their taglines, which the only two taglines that I thought were like halfway decent were Candi's and Kenya's. Um, she broke the internet, did not happen. um I'm running the race or something like that. Sonya needs to come up with something else. um Drew said something about the gaslighting, but she's in the spotlight. And it's really hard to watch Drew's storyline because we see that her and Ralph are acting when her and Ralph are really going through, some turmoil during their, in their marriage, to the point that led up to divorce. So watching even the scene with them climbing up the rocks, I fast forwarded through that part. Somebody said he mentioned Ike and Tina again. He made another reference. Um, when these men make references to Ike Turner and Tina Turner, it's not funny. That man was extremely abusive to her. So whenever you make those references to Ike and Tina, nobody's laughing. Nobody thinks it's funny. And it just shows like where your mind is. I can't watch Drew and her husband or her husband. I can't. It's just because they're acting. And to Marlo's point yesterday, not yesterday, but at the end of the episode where she says, "Drew, you're acting, you're acting." I don't think Drew was acting, but I do think that Drew does a lot of acting on this show. I feel like Drew feels like this is a role for her. I don't feel like Drew thinks that, like, oh, this is where you can see my real life and things that I'm doing. I feel like she thinks it's a role, and I'm not interested in it at all. But anyways, Sheree brings up that Kenya came to the fulfillment center and, felt like she was taking up for Martell. And she was like, "I was taking up for what's right." Martez felt ambushed. I'm not sure why he felt ambushed. Nobody approached him. He was asked to come over to some place else. He was asked to come over to them and ask the question. And he's the one that got a little hyphy. So like the story that broke over the weekend with Martez wanting to release revenge, PORN, on his ex-wife. I don't understand. Like I said on Twitter last night, if seeing the way that man has treated his ex-wife, seeing the way he's aggressive and doesn't mind, confronting women in an aggressive way, I don't understand how any woman's pussy could get wet for him. I don't understand how you can look at him and see him as a viable dating option. I don't see how you can look at him and want to lay down and open your legs to him. But it only feeds the narrative that these black women be desperate for any man. Any man that shows them attention. They have no standards. They have no standards. Like Sheree doesn't have any standards, and she says that Martez is kind and funny, and he's not arrogant or cocky. He should be arrogant and cocky because he can terrorize his ex-wife to no end and still have access to pussy. So there's no reason for him to change how he behaves with women because you stupid bitches give him pussy still. So that's what it is. She said, "Otherwise, I wouldn't be attracted to him." It's clear that you're attracted to trash, Sheree. That's what it's clear. We see a pattern of behavior for you. Not only is it a pattern of behavior, it is the willingness to ignore red flags. It's the willingness to just ignore what you have seen. It's the willingness to ignore the Yelp reviews. And Sheree, you have shown us 3 times in a row that you are attracted to trash. That's what you've shown us. So I don't know what you're talking about. Drew and Ralph, I fast forwarded through them. We see Kenya in the next scene fussing at somebody, honey. Girl was so funny when she said something about a low fucking resolution. It's also low fucking resolution. And her assistant looked at the cameraman like, girl, y'all, do we need to cut that out? Kenya was going off. She wants shit just right. You know, Kenya, I feel like she's a perfectionist. She wants everything just right. So she was fussing at somebody. She was like, people who work for her, she feels like in some ways that she's a mentor to them. And then she calls Manetta on FaceTime and asks her, will she help choreograph an HBCU themed intro or little segment that she's gonna do for the Magic City Classic, and with Kenya Moore hair care. So I know they're gonna be on the drums talking about Kenya Moore hair care. Do, 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 do. I know they're gonna tear it up. I can't wait to see that. When did that happen? I'm sure it's already happened. I actually want to see that. But yeah, so she's really excited that Manetta is going to help choreograph that, and so we'll see how that turns out. Kandi walks into Candy Coated Nights. What's the place called? The Candy Factory. Oh, girl. You know, I be trying to ease up on Kandi because y'all be like, just say you don't like her. I don't know how many times I have to tell y'all I don't particularly care for her personality, but I be trying to like not say anything else because I don't want y'all to be like, you a hater. But I don't know what the Kandi had on, number one, and I don't know why she had on that Bridgerton hairdo with the curls coming down and curl on the top and curl. I don't know. I guess she's just trying different looks maybe. And, I'll have to give it to her because that's part of, fashion and hairstyles and stuff like that. Try different looks, see what works for you. But so far, I don't know, Kandi. I don't know about. Now, Kandi looked cute, maybe because she just had braids going back. She looked cute at her birthday party over the weekend in Turks. But that hairdo that she turned that corner, and Don Juan was like, what you got on? Where are you going? She was like, my man is in town or something. They going to the game. He was like, you gonna sit on front row with that outfit on? And it was like booty popping everywhere. Okay. She had on these leather pants, leather shorts, but then the stockings under the shorts looked like they had garter belts on them, and then it was like really tight at the top. It was a very tight look. I was like, okay, Kandi. She and Don Juan are talking about the things that they have to prepare for, the must list. And Kandi's must list was, I took a screenshot of it, a weekly live show, Candy Coated Nights podcast, Soul Train Awards, Ebony Power 100 event, a Candy Cares event, Blaze's birthday, Celebrity Game Face, Portia's wedding, and build a new restaurant. Now, Kandi has a lot of things to do. I guess to keep the money rolling in, and then Todd's project, they said. She just wants to EP the project. She does not want to act in the movie. She does not want to be the lead. And then Don Juan basically tells her the way that you expect him to be active on your projects, you need to be active, just as active on his projects. And I don't think that that's a huge compromise. I feel like Todd and Kandi are business partners. The business of their marriage, the business of their businesses. I feel like they make good business partners. They make a good team. I know I give Todd Burris hell, but the truth of the matter is Kandi is the higher breadwinner. She's the most ambitious and she's the most successful. And when we hear Todd say he just wants to open restaurants for money, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like you are really interested in the restaurant business. You're just using it to make money. To me, that doesn't sound good. But I say all that to say, whatever project Todd is working on for the business of their marriage or their relationship or whatever, I do feel like Kandi should help him in some capacity. Now, because she has all this other shit going on, I don't feel like ooh, my stomach's growling. You heard it? I don't feel like she has the capacity to put in as much as Todd would put in, because I don't think that Todd's must list is as long as Kandi's. I just don't think so. So anyways, she talked about Momma Joyce at BravoCon and how Momma Joyce is, with the jokes about Todd not, being able to have a decent job. Kandi's kind of mad at her about that. And then Todd is kind of peeved about it too. She said Riley told her about it. And no, not Riley. Kayla told him about what Momma Joyce said, but Riley told her. And they keep saying that, you have to tell Momma Joyce how you feel. Now, we have seen Kandi allow her mother to be completely and utterly disrespectful to her spouse. We have seen it. Kandi has allowed it. Kandi has cried, "That's my mama. She gonna be my mama. No, this is my mama, my mama, my mama." Your mama is talking down to a man who, by the looks of it, has not brought you down in any way, has actually given you his presence in your life, has provided you opportunities to produce things and get into the screenplay business, producing screenplays and stuff like that. Not screenplays, plays. So based on what we're seeing, it doesn't seem like Todd is bringing Kandi down in any way. If we look at him in comparison to the other women and their respective partners, Todd, it looks like he's not doing anything bad besides using resources, but it's not like they're not benefiting from these things. So the jokes about Todd from Momma Joyce and him not working, she said that Kandi made lemonade, out of Todd. And I think it's time for the jokes to stop. Like from Momma Joyce, because they've been together, I don't know how long. Have they been together? Almost 10 years. And again, we haven't heard Todd humiliate Kandi. We haven't heard about him cheating on her. We haven't heard about, besides the Marvin allegations, we can't trust nothing that comes out of Gator Mouth's mouth. Okay. But he hasn't done anything against Kandi for us to be like, we don't fool with Todd. We give him the blues because we know he's not the breadwinner, and that's just what it is. But out of that, he's kept a job. He keeps a job. He works. He takes care of daddy daycare. He does all of these things. I don't see him not contributing to the success of their business, whether it's their business or the business of their marriage. And that's just real. You cannot leave that out. You know what I'm saying? So Kandi has allowed Momma Joyce to demean Todd. She has allowed her. So I don't know how that conversation is going to look, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. She can't go to BravoCon this year and keep saying shit about Todd. And they need to stop asking her questions about Todd, because the truth is, Todd is an asset, has been an asset to Kandi. We have not seen Todd be a liability outside of opening restaurants, right? And those restaurants, I don't know if they're making money or what, but they're staying open, even though they're not getting they were getting D's and C's health code violations or whatever. But outside of that, we haven't heard anything about Todd. So I'm like, I think, Momma Joyce needs to give his ass a break. I really do. And it's going to have to come from Kandi. Kandi's going to have to say something. Todd can't say anything. It has to be Kandi, because she's the one who's allowed it. So that it is what it is. And she says Ace and Blaze are going to see it one day, and she needs to respect my marriage. Yes, but you're the one that's going to have to draw the boundaries and provide her with what's acceptable and what's not. What's not acceptable is that you get on a grand stage and say some foul shit about my husband, which is not true. Like, he's could get a better job. What better job? He's helping me while I have this long list of things, making sure our kids are taken care of. If it was the other way around, she would be making sure the kids are taken care of while he jet set and do whatever the hell, if he had a long list like her. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how that's going to look, because Kandi has allowed her mom to do that. That's not anybody else's fault but Kandi. And that's the truth. I'm tired of seeing this shirt through the back here. Drunk ass collar. Anyway, so that's it. She wants Momma Joyce to respect her marriage. It is what it is. Drew and Candiace are on the phone. She says Candiace has become a great friend. Shout out to Candiace Dillard-Bassett for making an appearance on Atlanta Housewives. She wants her to replace Shamari. She's going to have a show at some winery or something like that. She wants her to sing a song with her. Now, when she sang the song, it was less than a minute. So I didn't understand why she came out there to sing the song. I didn't get that. I was like, what? Even Kenya was like, we want more. Yeah, because Drew, truth is, Drew has a nice voice. So I'm trying to figure out, why was it so short and what was the purpose? I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. Anyway, so Courtney comes by Drew and Ralph's house, and she brings Bryce Wilson, honey, from Groove Theory with her. He looks different. He looks like he's in dad mode, dad mode. But they have a 24-year-old daughter together. He looks different, but he's still handsome. But Bryce is fine. He was back in the day. He was so cute. But anyways, Drew said when he walked through the door, she looked at him and she was like, oh my God. And they were like, y'all know each other? She was like, yeah, we did a movie together. Oh my God. And the movie was, I don't know how many years ago, whatever. Drew tells Courtney about, Candiace, and, she's going to be doing a song with Candiace, and then she's excited about it. And so she calls Kandi. Now, I assume she calls Kandi because Kandi in their conversation said, I told you y'all should do a song together. So that might be why she called her. But to bring Courtney into the frame and say, hey, say hi to Courtney, you already know that Courtney and Kandi got into it. So I'm seeing, like, she was like, I don't want to be drama with Drew. No, you being messy, because your husband already told you that Kandi and Courtney got into it at the party. So don't act like you didn't know. And that's why I don't particularly care for Drew. I think she's whack. That's why I'm like, girl, that's why you're whack, because you knew that girl, did you see Candy's face in the FaceTime? Like, girl, why would you call me when Courtney is there? Like, girl, I don't like that lady. She knows I don't like that lady. Anyway, so they sit down to dinner. Courtney shares with us that Sonia was the one who told her to talk to Kandi. And then Sonia also unfollowed Drew on Instagram. And that's like a big deal or whatever. Marlo shares with us that she lost her nephew to gun violence. And then she's in the car with her nephews on the way to the mall to pick something up. That she asked her nephews, do they like the life coach? And they're just like, yeah, And then she also asked them, have you seen a difference in me? And he was like, I think for the most part, or you're doing good or something like that. And they pick whatever up and from the mall. And that was it. Drew meets up with Candiace for their sound check. And then they're getting ready for the show. I saw Heavenly, Oliver. Sonia says she's going to come because she wants to mend her issues with Drew. Marlo shows up to the table and speaks to Sonia and then says, hey, ladies. And they looked at her like, girl, Kandi said hi. Moneta was like, and Kenya barely glanced at that lady. I was like, damn, they did not give Marlo anything she needed at all. So Sonya, when Marlo goes to the bathroom, Sonya asks, "What's up?" Kandi says, "I'm keeping my distance." Manetta says she tried to play her in Jamaica when she was walking over to her, talking about, "Oh, Kandi, let Manetta come out," or whatever. So she's not feeling her. Courtney shows up. She speaks to everybody. Even Kandi speaks back. Sheree is not coming. Sheree says she doesn't want to see flop it like Drew. There's no bigger flop than Drew than you. Like literally, you did not break the internet. You probably didn't pay for the server. Okay, that's probably why that website went down like that. And to this day, I don't know a person who has. I haven't even seen a review on YouTube of somebody wearing She by Sheree. So you the biggest flop. You have no business calling Drew a flop, because bitch, you a flop. And you date like a flop. You dating Martell Holt? That's a flop in itself. The nigga can't even pass an open book builder's license test, okay? Girl, that's a flop, okay? Anyway, child. Candiace performs. She brings Drew out. I'm gonna love me all the way. Everybody said they wanted to hear more. That was it. I was like, girl, what? What? That was it? Okay, girl. At the end of the show, everybody, we see the show. Of course, we see Chris, honey. He's gonna make his appearance one way or another, honey. Chris Bassett. So we see Chris. We see everybody hugging, and everybody's proud of Candiace. Apparently, it was a really good show. When they all walk to the back, I don't know, to where the winery part is. I don't know where they were. I guess they were still at the winery place. What is the place called? I don't know, child. Anyway, so they're all sitting around. It's actually the entire cast plus Manetta and Courtney. And they're sitting around, and Sonya, says something to Drew about, what happened at BravoCon. And Drew was basically saying, well, when I dropped the merch, you unfollowed me. The merch that they showed, talking about she invited me and then she uninvited me. Can somebody please explain to me what the F that is in reference to? I don't remember somebody being invited or uninvited. I don't, what does she uninvite Drew to? I don't know, child. I was like, girl, what? And you made merch out of that? You trying to do what Kandi does and like make something out of something that happened on the show? I don't know. That might be a flop too. Because I was like, this doesn't even make sense. What is she talking about? And why would anybody wear she invited me and she uninvited me on their, what does it have to do with, what statement is it making? I don't understand it. Did anybody buy Drew's sweatshirts? And then you posing with a man who abuses you. Drew, this needs to be Drew's last season, along with Marlo and along with who's the other one? Marlo, Drew, and Sheree. This needs to be y'all last season. Anyway, she says, well, I actually unfollowed you after you posted the hair flip post. Then Sonya says she doesn't flip flop. You do. They give each other hugs. That's going to be fake anyways. Kandi brings up Courtney saying that she brought the hood out. They go back and forth, and she says, well, I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the hood. So, no, this is my problem with how these women communicate. You said something trying to be shady. When it's brought up to you, you try to change it as if, well, I'm from the ghetto. I'm from the hood. So I wasn't trying to say anything about it. No, you said she brought the hood out. You didn't say it as, oh my God, the next week after they saw Kandi, the next week it was so many people there. No, you were using hood as an insult. So you were trying to insult Kandi. Don't try to turn around and be like, oh, I'm hood too. I'm from the hood. I can show you. Girl, shut up. Courtney, you too. It's a flop for you too. Kenya says, well, it comes across as aggressive. And you don't look down on people. And then Kandi hollered, I bring everybody out, right? I'm sure she's going to make a shirt that says, I bring everybody out. I bring the hood out. I bring everybody out. I'm sure she's going to make some merch. It's coming soon, okay? Sonia asked Manetta about Jamaica with Marlo. I have nothing to do with your issues with Kandi. Whatever issues you have with Kandi, I have nothing to do with them. That's between y'all. That's my girl and I love her or whatever, but that's between y'all. And then she said something, is that all you have, sweetheart? Is that all you have? Whatever Marlo was saying to Manetta. And she was like, girl, bye. Drew brings up the quote unquote incident, right? Kandi says it's a private matter. Marlo says, well, I'm getting ready to go because it seems like every time it's time to talk about Kandi, things get swept under the rug. I think people are tired of Kandi using the show to promote her business ventures. She doesn't, the complaint is she's not sharing her life. Now, based on what I just said earlier about all the shit about, Momma Joyce and Todd, that's Kandi's life, right? Kandi having a surrogate, that's Kandi's life, right? That has nothing to do with a business. The baby shower for the surrogate that year when Kenya and Nene were arguing, they were arguing at the baby shower for Blaze. Kandi does show her life. The part that I wouldn't say she doesn't show her life, but what I say, she doesn't get involved, and she's very much a throw rock, hide your hand. Oh, did you see us on page 6? Right? That's Kandi's, how she moves. Kandi moves through the show kind of like this. She shows her life, but when it comes to how she relates to the women, she doesn't have she doesn't have a lot of conflict with them. And I don't know, maybe the way that Marlo is talking, like she doesn't share her life, it doesn't really land. It's not really landing for me because she does show her life, and we can't take that away. All of them show their lives. And I think it's time in the 15th season that we stop saying people don't have storylines, because to me, their storyline is their relationships with each other. That is the storyline. Now, do we get to see their personal stories, things that's happening outside of the group of women? I think we see all of their personal stories. We see Kenya working on her business. We see Sonia and, doing this party for Ross and talking about having a baby with Ross and stuff. We see Drew saying she wants to be a singer again. We see Sheree dating dumb dudes. We are seeing their personal stories, but we need to stop saying people don't have storylines, because I believe the storyline is each other. The storyline is how I relate to this friend group of women. So I think it's time we let that go. Kandi says, well, let's talk about the girl you cut in the face. Marlo says that was self-defense and it was something that happened 23 years ago. I think that was a flop. Kandi should not have brought that up. I really feel like that was a flop. I think it's time to get new material as it relates to Marlo's past. That we know that she has 11 mug shots. We know about the girl she cut in the face. I think the girl ended up dying by suicide because of, the stress and everything about that. I believe so. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Marlo said that's something that happened 23 years ago and it was in self-defense. She says, but every time we bring up stuff about Kandi, it gets swept under the rug. The truth is, don't nobody want to bring up a shooting that happened at their business. That's bad for business. They already have health code violations. I don't want to talk about it. It's private. So it is what it is. 30 minutes after production wrapped, Marlo and Drew are still at the place. Why didn't you say shooting? And Drew was like, well, why make it a moment? It doesn't have to be a moment. She was like, I lost someone as well, and it's triggering for me. So to me, like I said on Twitter, if it's triggering for you, I feel like the word shooting would be more triggering than the word incident. why were you so adamant on her saying the word shooting and instead said the word incident? Maybe, I don't know. Everybody knows that it happened. And bringing it up on camera, I don't know. I feel like maybe Marlo, I don't understand what I don't understand what she was trying to do. I really don't. 2 years ago, Marlo told Kandi about her nephew being killed. She said she doesn't feel like Kandi cared, and Kandi cares. And then she said when they brought it up on camera, Kandi acted like she didn't know what she was talking about. She said, so I'm calling you out. Calling her out on what? What are you calling her out on? I don't get it. Marlo's not making sense to me. I'm like, Marlo, girl, you're just creating conflict and it doesn't make sense. That's where people are saying this should be your last season, because it's like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Because the truth is, I mean, like I said, Kandi shares her personal story. Marlo shares her. All of them are sharing personal things about themselves. So I'm not sure what Marlo is trying to create an issue with Kandi. I feel like it doesn't make sense. Y'all let me know. It just doesn't make sense to me. That was the end of the episode. Again, Marlo, the conflict that you're creating doesn't make sense and people can't follow along. And even when you explained it, everybody's like, girl, what? That doesn't even make sense. So I'm also glad that Sheree was only in the first scene and we didn't see her any other time. Maybe because she was in Huntsville, but getting questioned and interrogated by Tiffany honey. But yeah, maybe I don't know, Marlo. We'll see how Marlo performs next week, because again, none of it made sense to me. And I'm all for busting the girls' balls, for busting Kandi's balls, but it has to make sense. It has to make sense in order for me to ride along with it. So anyways, y'all, take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the episode overall. Does anybody understand? Can anybody rationalize what Marlo was trying to communicate about this issue with Kandi? If somebody can explain it to me, I would love that, because I'm confused and I feel like I'm a pretty smart lady and I was completely confused. People are like, don't try to understand shit that comes out of Marlo's mouth, but I'm trying to understand how does one, your nephew died, your nephew was killed by his roommate. That's awful. That is so awful. Killed by his roommate. He used to work at Old Lady Gang. You called Kandi and texted Kandi and told her your nephew was killed. She says, oh, that's sad. You tell her on camera, this is 2 years ago now, you tell her on camera again. She was like, damn, that's crazy. And then 2 years later, a shooting happens at her place of business. Drew brings it up and calls it an incident. You want her to call it a shooting because you're triggered by it. Girl, it does not make sense. And everything that I said, all the pieces I said, none of them fit together. None of them fit together. So Marlo, you're going to have to come better than that, sweetheart. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.